everyone, my name is Selena. I am going to review The Sisterhood by A.J. Grainger. Lil has been haunted by the disappearance of her sister Mela. Mela has run away from home months prior, leaving Lil and her mother in a state of distress. When Lil finds an injured girl, Alice, laying in the middle of the road injured, she feels a connection and obligation to help her as she hopes someone would do the same for her missing sister Mel. Lil takes Alice home to clean her wounds and get her out of the freezing rain. When Alice threatens to leave Lil's home if the police are called, Lil tries to get some answers about what or whom Alice could be running from. Lil discovers that Alice comes from a community that is far different from her own. Alice's community worships the light and fears darkness. Can this community be as peaceful as Alice describes, or are Alice's injuries more truthful towards the community's true intentions? The Sisterhood jumps from two different points of view. The reader gets to experience Lil's story in the present as it unfolds. The story then jumps to the community that Alice comes from, and we get to experience the life of a girl named Brilliance, who, just like Alice, is a member of the light community or sisterhood. While reading, I was unsure if the timeline was the same as Lil's story. The points of view were easy to follow, though, as they were split into separate chapters. As a reminder of the switch of characters, there is always a quote about the light and darkness at the beginning of each chapter in Brilliance's point of view. I enjoyed that the sisterhood, or cult as I see them, is described as a mess. It seems that the leader is great at manipulation, just as a cult leader typically is. The cult leader is charming and mesmerizing. The sisters describe her presence and power over the other members of the community, but what you also see is someone who preys on the weak and vulnerable. Lil's character was developed well. I cannot say the same for the other characters in the story. Lil even had a love interest in this book, but I felt as if it wasn't important to the story, so I haven't even mentioned him up until this point. He felt like a filler. Alice is central to the story, but there are many parts in the book where she is not included. I was just kind of waiting for her to return to the story at some point. I did enjoy the suspense in the beginning of the book. It seemed as though the suspense and action took a dive as the story progressed. There were a few moments when I just wanted to skip ahead to get to some resolution or some other type of action. The ending was pretty predictable from the beginning, with just a few surprises that didn't add enough excitement to the story for me. The idea of a cult intrigued me enough to actually finish the book. The Sisterhood forces readers to consider beliefs and ways of thinking in terms of black and white, or considering the gray areas in between. This book touches on themes of depression, manipulation, a sense of belonging, and destiny. There is a life lesson to be learned here about taking responsibility for one's own actions and understanding that you do have control over your own life. I believe that The Sisterhood is an okay book, not a great book, but okay. I would rate this book 3 out of 5 stars. I would recommend this book to anyone who enjoys mysteries or thrillers. Even though the story has a bit of romance, I would not recommend it to anyone who only reads romance. I hope everyone reads this book and forms their own opinion, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Please come back for more book reviews by the Glendale Library staff.